Good morning, folks. How is everyone? You know you're my people and I love you. Always want you to be the big three. Every day after work, I drop the mail off at the post office. The kid at the post office knows me from one of my old jobs. Really, really nice fellow. He's married, he's got kids, and he's right in that zone where they're going to draft him. And he's freaking out. And I'm like, dude, stop freaking out. Do not melt down over things you cannot control. If it's raining, open an umbrella. That's about all you can do. But you can yell at the sky all you want. Not going to make it stop raining. So don't expend energy on things that are beyond your control. That being said, I don't see World War III on the horizon. I know a lot of people do, but a lot of people are being fed fear porn and don't understand that fear porn they're being fed is like the rest of the food in this country. It's garbage, it should be indigestible, and it should be a crime to actually give it to people. That being said, as much as they would like us to race headlong in to World War III with Israel and Palestine and Hamas and the Zionists and yada, 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 I think, mind you, you guys can do your own research on this. You probably know more normies than I do. But from what I'm seeing, we have reached the saturation point where people are fed up with all this bullshit. And where they overplayed their hand, I think, is in Ukraine. Because they were yelling and screaming about, gotta stop the Russians. Remember, these are Russian collusion people. Gotta stop the Russians. Ukraine's a democracy. Now, anybody who's clued in knows that Ukraine is literally the most corrupt country on the face of the earth. Allegedly. And that most of our politicians launder their money through there. Allegedly. Including the big guy. Allegedly. Fucking country full of cunts where you have to watch everything you say. Even though we have a First Amendment. Yeah. It still doesn't cover slander and libel. Anyway. I think the rest of the country is burnt out, man. They're just done. Nobody wants to deal with this bullshit anymore. And they're like, oh, we have to go fight and support Israel. Why? Now, I get it. The Jews, that's a whole separate topic between Jews and Zionists. I'll put a link down below to an interview Shiva did yesterday, Shiva Ayyadurai. You don't have to love him. You can hate him. I don't give a shit. But he makes some really, really interesting points about Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and Zionism. Smart man. Smart man. Do I want him for president? No. And the 14th Amendment bullshit is fucking bullshit. It's another one of the amendments I'd repeal fucking tomorrow. That being said. They got fed the war porn, the fear porn from Ukraine. And it was good for a while, but eventually they overdosed. And now we're being fed even more, even worse propagandist war porn from Hamas is killing babies. Well, Saddam pulled babies out of a fucking incubator and bayoneted them. And blather, whinge, rebleat, right? It's the same playbook over and fucking over again and over again because they've conditioned you to have goldfish memory from this fucking machine. But that doesn't mean all of us do. Because, you know, there are people out there that are smarter than the average bear and pay fucking attention. Even though the linguistic word porn for pay attention is supposed to scare people off because it thinks it costs them something. See the way they word stuff? People are fucking super saturated, soaked, and done with all this war bullshit. except for the dyed-in-the-wool hardcore, we have to support the Jews. Well, that would be Shapiro, Loomer. 110% support your right to get on a fucking plane and go over there. And then you could support the war effort with your boots on the ground. But stop supporting the war effort with my children and my fucking money. Okay? Well, RFK said we needed Israel because it's like an aircraft carrier in the Middle East. As opposed to the 15 fucking aircraft carriers we have, many of which are in dry dock because we can't afford to fucking refit them. And I'm not talking total refits. I'm talking basic maintenance and upgrades. And we have these huge super carriers that are sitting in dry dock that need work that we can't afford to do because they're busy giving money to Israel and fucking Ukraine because these pieces of shit have been terrifying people with the fear porn. I know you got friends who are buying into this shit. You need to tell them, stop, look, listen. Fucking turn your head around, check your six, then come back and take a fresh, clean look at what you're seeing because it's all bullshit. None of this is any of our fucking business. But Jews, you know what? Okay, and again, airport's right here. Go support your country. There's your bank account. Write them the checks. If you don't want to do that, here's your bank account. Go buy them the fucking weapons and send it to them. That's illegal, by the way. Don't fucking do it. Okay? Unless you're Victor Bout and we have a tranny stuck in a gulag in Siberia that we need to train for the world's allegedly biggest arms dealer, also known as the Merchant of Death. Allegedly. Incidentally, if it wasn't for us, he wouldn't have an industry. Just throwing it out there. So, stop worrying about World War III. First of all, they haven't declared a war since World War II. They've been bypassing Congress right and left on this. And that's illegal. Nobody ever gets charged for it. And then we do things like police actions. Hold on a second. Or we do things like police actions, or we send advisors over. So once we have boots on the ground, we can have our people fucking shot, and then we can spin it up as in, well, look what they did to us. Well, you did it to your fucking self. And incidentally, every politician that's sitting there screaming to send my fucking kids and your fucking kids and our fucking kids into the meat grinder needs to be suited up first and dropped on the front lines. I have zero issues with that. And then, if they survive, they need to be removed because we're done with this neocon wall-hawking bullshit. It doesn't benefit us. All it really does is it removes generations from the population. So if we get rid of all our fighting age men, well, just think of all the fighting age men we can import from somewhere the fuck else. I know, it's a bit ranty, but it was cold on walkies this morning. It was 48 degrees when we went out, which is why we're shooting in the kitchen. 48 degrees is cold when you live in Phoenix. That's easily 70 degrees colder than it was in the middle of summer, which would mean 114 degrees if you're doing the math. I know in one of my recent videos I did my math way wrong. I'm saying 70 instead of 80 because I'm still stuck in the early part of this millennium. Anyway, that's it. I'm done, but I'm not getting anything that says we're rushing headlong into World War III. The only thing I'm really getting from everything I'm seeing, and I'm not even getting signals from on high, I'm just getting observational signals here, is people are done, they're burnt out, they're worn out, they're finished. Nobody wants to play in this bullshit anymore. Oh, squizzy. That's from the anti-inflammatories they take in the morning, which are just herbs in capsules. I stay away from all the chemical bullshit from these fucking pharma factories. It was cold. We're shooting in the kitchen. People are fed up with all the bullshit, fear porn. And it's Thursday. So that's everything I got. Should have been a beer video put up this morning. I'm trying that new thing where I just shoot them and then I schedule them to go up. And some channels do it and some channels don't. So as always, if you're not getting the shit you want from me, this can't go on YouTube. It gets shit canned immediately. So it won't ever be on YouTube, which is why it's on BitChute, Brighteon, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitter, Minds, Gab. Sounds about right. And don't get me wrong, I have accounts open all over the place, but it takes too long to upload to 10 different friggin' channels. So, is what it is. With Twitter, Minds, and Gab, it's just a matter of send a link. So, easier. All right, my friends. Thank you for coming by. Some eyeballs on here. You're my people, and I love you. Big three. Happy, healthy, safe, honorable, dutiful, vigilant. Gray man, head on a swivel. Hot and handy. Don't buy the fear porn. Okay? Remember, my friend Charlie used to say this all the time. Charlie was a good guy. Chalutz was a little out there, but he was a good man. He used to say, don't sweat the petty things and don't pet the sweaty things. 100% correct. Okay? I don't see us going into World War III, folks. I just don't think anybody has the stomach for it anymore, and we know for a fact that we don't have the money for it. The military-industrial complex is not going to be taking IOUs. The global cabal is not going to be funding them. And this whole we give money to Ukraine and Israel bullshit has to fucking stop, as we borrow it from fucking China and can't afford the goddamn interest payments. Just so you fucking know. All collapse in the end anyway. Be ready to ride that out. That's where it's going to get really, really sucky. And that's where we're going to pull through it. So that's what I always tell you. It's going to get really bad, but we'll be okay when we come out on the other end. Love you fuckers. Adios.